Welcome to my build of a Piper Cub J3. Having completed the covering on the fuselage, the next job was to put on the decal, the letters and the numbering. I really wanted to get that scale look, and I'm just going to show you how I've done that. I'm going to be putting numbers down the side. I've just been and got them printed to the correct size. So I'm going to be putting numbers on the side here, and I'll also be doing numbers on the wing later. The way I'm going to be doing the numbers is I'm going to be sticking down some black film, heat shrink film, onto my cutting mat. I'm then going to stick the numbers on top. I'm going to very carefully cut them out with the scalpel, and then I will attach the numbers to the side of the plane. To locate them, I'm going to be using isopropanol. I've seen various things suggested for sticking numbers and detailing decal onto this film, for locating it and getting it in the right position. I found isopropanol is really good. You could spray it on here, you can locate it, dab it dry, leave it a few minutes, and then you can use your hot iron to do it straight away. And that doesn't leave bubbles. It's nice and it's stuck on really well. I tried using Windex and various things, and it just left it full of bubbles, and I wasn't very happy. So this seems to be going on okay. So I'm going to get on now and cut these out, and we'll see how that goes. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I'm kind of learning as I go. But the numbers and letters don't seem to be coming out too bad. The two things I have found, or three things actually I've found, that obviously you've got to have this secured really nice and tight so it doesn't move, and also holding it with your finger really helps as you go around some of those curves. And I found keeping the scalpel on as low a cut as possible rather than being high up at an angle like this, because you get a smoother cut. If you try and go around like this at quite a steep angle, it ends up jagged, and the more of a flow you can get, the better really, rather than trying to do it slowly. I find just going with a flow if you can, and a good pair of strong glasses. Some of these curves are really tricky. I don't know how well the camera can see that. I may be blocking the view, for which I apologise. I find that even if I go off the line slightly, it's more important to try and maintain that kind of flow and continuity of the cut. As long as I don't go off too much, of course. And then we just finish up the straight edges with a ruler. And two more cuts. And just a nice pair of forceps is quite useful. And there we have our number 2. I've got my letters cut out now, my numbers, and I'm going to start putting them onto the fuselage. To line them up, I put in just a thin piece of cotton which I've taped front and back of the fuselage to give me a straight line, a guideline to go from. I've seen the numbers in different sort of locations on the side of the fuselage. I've seen them parallel with this bottom edge, and I've seen them centrally down the fuselage. I'm going to put them what I think is centrally down the fuselage, hopefully. I think that looks a lot better. And as I say, I've got this guideline to help me. I've got some nice forceps here which will help me pick them up and put them on. A lot easier than using my fingers. And as I said previously, I'm going to be using this isopropanol to locate them. Pat it dry. Once it's dried, I'll iron them on. I've now got all my numbers in place and letters, and I've got my stripe down the side. Again, I've used a straight edge, well, sorry, not a straight edge, but a cotton line, just to line that up, and also eyed it from the end. Not that anybody will ever do that, but obviously we want to get this right. And seems to be nice and looking okay. I noticed that one of these numbers has just started lifting up a little bit, probably as the isopropanol starts to dry off even more. So using this isopropanol, it looks like that you need to get the ironing done fairly soon after it's just started to dry off, so it doesn't totally dry up, because it looks like the numbers and letters might start to lift off. So let's get rid of this cotton, and I will start to get this ironed. Yeah, number 8 was just starting to lift off as well. So isopropanol is okay, but it's something that needs to be worked fairly quickly. Okay, we've got the decal on both sides of the fuselage now. I don't like this fine point at the beginning, I must admit, of this stripe or flash. It's very easily bent when you're just trying to put the iron on it. And I get the feeling it could be a bit that's kind of destined to come loose at some point, but we'll see how that fares. But that's finished now, and I guess the next job is to move on to the wings.